In today's lesson, Chapter 3, Section 4, we want to find the equation of the line given some information. This is found on page 118. And sometimes we'll be given information. We have a point or a slope. Maybe we have 2 points. Or we have another equation where we find its slope and a point on that, and we need to go find another equation, either parallel or perpendicular. And there's some certain formulas that's going to be very helpful and useful in doing this process, and you will need to memorize them. Y as a variable minus the y point from point 1 equals the slope distributed to x as a variable minus the x value from point 1. That's if you're given a slope and a point. Next equation, if you're given 2 points, you've got a point x1, y1 and a point x2, y2. Notice the only thing different here is we have y minus y1. Instead of knowing the slope, we have to calculate the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 from our lesson on slope. And then we're going to distribute that to x minus x1. So very similar. One of them when you know the slope and 1 point. The other formula is when you don't know the slope, but you have 2 points. Alright, let's jump right in and see what we can do. So example 1 says we've got a point negative 8, 3. We've got a slope of 3/4. So let's start with the equation where we know the slope and a point. So y minus the y value from the only point we know equals the slope distributed to x minus the x value here, which is negative 8. Don't forget subtracting negatives, the same as adding a positive. And then in our next step, we'll distribute 3/4 x and distribute 3/4 of 8. 4 will divide into 8 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we need to add 3 to both sides to get y by itself. And there is the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Y equals 3/4 x plus 9. Sometimes, however, we need to know not just slope-intercept form, but we need to know standard form. And in this problem, they're asking for standard form. Standard form means no fractions. So we've got to multiply by the denominator here. And then we want x and y on the same side of the equal sign. So we'll start by multiplying by 4. That's 4y equals 3x plus 36. And if we subtract 3x from both sides, there's our answer in standard form. So we've got our answer in slope-intercept form, y equals 3/4 x plus 9. Standard form, 3x minus 4y equals negative 36. All right, let's look at another example. Here we have the situation where we have 2 points, and we need to find the equation of the line between 2 points. So let's just call one of them point 1, one of them point 2, so we're consistent. Doesn't matter which is which. What's important is that we're consistent. And the formula we're going to start with is y minus y1. So y1 here is 2, the y value from point 1, equals, and we're going to calculate the slope, y2, the y value from point 2, minus the y value from point 1, over the x value from point 2 minus the x value from point 1, distributed to x minus the x value from point 1. Let's simplify that. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 over 2 reduces to 2. And let's distribute 2 times x to get 2x. 2 times 1 to get negative 2. And if we add 2 to both sides of the equation, we'll get y equals 2x plus 0. Now this one I'm not going to put in standard form. I'm going to leave it in slope-intercept form because that's what the directions asked for. In standard form, we'd subtract 2x from both sides, and we'd have negative 2x plus y equals 0. All right, let's move on to another one. We want to find the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. The slope is negative 3, the y-intercept is 2. And here, let's remember what we learned just a lesson or two ago. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So not much work to do in this situation. We know that the slope of negative 3 is m. So replace m with negative 3. We know that the y-intercept represents b, so replace b with 2. There's our equation in slope-intercept form. Before we jump into the next couple of problems, we need a little geometry reminder. And in this geometry reminder, We need to remember that parallel lines have the same slope, and perpendicular lines have slopes that are two things: one, opposite signs of each other, and two, reciprocals of each other. Another way to say that is perpendicular lines, if you multiply their slope, the product of their slope is -1. So let's take a look at this situation. We want to find the equation of a line that goes through the point -1, 3, but it's parallel to 2x plus y equals 10. So the first thing we need to know is to find out the slope of 2x plus y equals 10. If you get y by itself equals -2x plus 10, we have a slope of -2. The equation we want is parallel to that, so it should also have a slope of -2. We have a point of -1, 3, so we can use that first equation we learned in the first part of the lesson. Y minus the y value, which is 3, equals the slope, -2, distributed to x minus the x value from our point, -1. Remember, subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. Distribute out the -2 is -2x minus 2. And we're going to get y by itself, so let's add 3 to both sides. Y equals -2x. 3 plus -2 is 1. And I'm going to leave the answer in slope-intercept form here. Y equals -2x plus 1. In standard form, we would just add 2x to both sides, have 2x plus y equals 1. I believe if you check your answers in the back of the book, they put their answers all in standard form. Alright, and then our last example of today is we have an equation of a line we're looking for that goes through the point 2, -3, but is perpendicular to 4y minus x equals 20. So let's find the slope of 4y minus x equals 20 first. So let's add x to both sides. Divide everything in sight by 4. Y is 1/4 x plus 5. From our geometry reminder, we remember that the slope of this line is 1/4, but the slope of a line perpendicular to it would be two things. It would be opposite signs, so if this is positive, we're going to get negative. And secondly, it's going to be the reciprocal. Reciprocal of 1/4 is 4. So the slope we want is -4. Put that into our equation. Y minus the y value, -3, equals the slope we just found, the -4, distributed to x minus the x value of our point, which is 2. Don't forget that subtracting a negative is adding a positive. And if we distribute out, -4 times x is -4x. -4 times -2 is +8. And to get y by itself, we'll subtract 3 from both sides. So y is -4x plus 5. And that's our look today at trying to go from 2 points or a point in a slope and finding the equation of the line that go through them. Again, in order to be successful, these are the formulas you need to memorize. The first one when you have the slope and only 1 point. The second one when you have 2 points. So make sure you memorize those formulas to be successful on today's lesson.